Here's Brody Brazil.
So the World Series is almost upon us. Game 1 is Friday night, north of the border. It's the Blue Jays hosting the Dodgers to kick things off. And I wanted to do a World Series matchup preview between these two teams. Problem is, there was so much information, it was way too much for just one video, so I'm splitting things up. I'll eventually get to the Dodgers side of things, but right here, right now, it's all about the Blue Jays. 10 interesting pieces of information. I have personally curated this. All of it comes, by the way, from the research department of MLB Network, but I've funneled it down into this video. 10 things I think stand out, whether you're a casual fan, whether you're a hardcore Blue Jays fan. These are 10 things that I wanted to pass along from the Blue Jays angle of the World Series. You saw the title there, Unstoppable Bats. It's interesting how they got here. Most teams get to a World Series with their pitching and their defense, and I'm not saying those are bad for Toronto, but man, their bats have been impressive this postseason. And when you really stop to think about it, the Blue Jays are hosting Game 1 because they won a single game more during the regular season. Now, that's an interesting thought to begin with here. Of all the games that seem monotonous and don't matter, and it's kind of a throwaway Thursday or whatever, every single game mattered this year because the Blue Jays get home field advantage. They get Game 1 and, if necessary, a Game 7 at Rogers Center on their home field because they won a single game more than the Dodgers did this year. Anyway, I bring that up because the winner of World Series Game 1, if there really is home field advantage, and if the Blue Jays really do take advantage of that in Game 1, the winner of World Series Game 1 has gone on to win 76 of the prior 120 series. That's a lot of World Series. 76 times the winner of Game 1 takes it. That's 63%. So it's not 50-50 of who takes Game 1, then ultimately who takes the series. 63% of the time. And actually that number, that stat has gone up in recent years. So it is the more recent trend that if you win Game 1, you've got a higher likelihood of winning the whole series. But again, the Blue Jays have home field advantage because of a single win more in the regular season. How amazing is that? Canada's going to host its first World Series game in 11,689 days since Joe Carter touched them all. That's right, it'll be the first fall classic on Canadian soil since Joe Carter's series-ending home run in the 1993 World Series. That one defeated the Philadelphia Phillies. And so, yeah, it's been a long time. It's been most of a lifetime of a lot of, obviously, young fans. I remember this in 1993. I was 12. I do remember the Joe Carter home run. I do remember that series. The Blue Jays were good, right, in 92 and in 1993. But that's how long it's been for this team to finally get over the hump. And when you think about the rest of the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s and being in that division against the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays have emerged as being a really good team at times. That's been a very tough division. No disrespect to the Baltimore Orioles, but yeah, for everything that the Blue Jays have had to fight through over the years, it still has been a very long time that they have been to the World Series. I mentioned before the Blue Jays bats. Oh my goodness. And again, pitching and defense, and usually you're thinking a 1-0 playoff game, a 2-1 playoff game, a 1-run playoff game, but low scores, and it's all about pitching and defense. Well, Toronto as a team is batting .296 this postseason through the ALCS, while averaging, like if the batting average isn't good enough, averaging 6.45 runs per game in this postseason. Whatever happened to 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, whatever, almost, well, more than 6, but almost 7 runs a game. They're almost putting up a touchdown per game here in the playoffs. The 11 other playoff teams that were in the postseason and still are so the ones that are eliminated, and the Dodgers, I should say, batting a combined .218. And yeah, when I say .296, you think about what a team's batting average is through the regular season, bigger sample size, more accurate estimate. Like a lot of teams have a batting average of .225, maybe .230. Literally, the Jays are 70 to 80 points above most major league teams. In the regular season, they're doing this here in the playoffs. Over 22% of all the runs scored in this postseason by all the teams belong to the Blue Jays. 317 runs scored in this postseason 2025. The Blue Jays have plated 71 base runners. They've scored almost a quarter of the runs in these playoffs, despite being just one of a dozen teams that qualified for the postseason. So yeah, they are definitely doing it with offense. And you look right at the heart of their lineup, Vlad Jr. has 10 hits in his last 19 at-bats. And just think about the lineage and his dad and the Expos and how maybe there is some makeup factor for that, like the baseball gods kind of owe it to Expos fans and Vlad Sr. and what he meant to that franchise. 3 doubles, 3 homers in that span of the last 19 at-bats with 10 hits. He's now batting .442 average-wise. His slash line goes .442, .510, .930. He's 19 for his last 43. And in that span, 6 dingers, 12 RBI in the playoffs. Yeah, Vlad Jr. is feeling it right now. He's got the hot hand at the plate. Bo Bichette. Now, here's another aspect to the whole, World Series goes so long and the Dodgers have been off for a while. And by the way, when we do get to the Dodger video, a big consideration on their side is going to be rest versus rust. A full 6 days in between games. Remember, they swept the Brewers in the NLCS. And so it took the longest amount of time for the ALCS to be finished, to go a full game 7, to go to a full 7 games. And it took the shortest time for the Dodgers to be done. The Dodgers have been sitting. They've been idle. 6 full days is not something normal in a baseball season. But on the Blue Jays side of things, going so long in this season has helped a key contributor get better. Bo Bichette told John Morosi of MLB Network literally right after Game 7 the other night. And talk about hitting the afterburners of feeling good and, hey, the Blue Jays are advancing. And guess what? You now have access to a piece that is going to be ready. I mean, he says, quote, "I'll be ready." But by the way, Bichette has not played since that left knee injury strain back on September 6th. So you think about missing pretty much all of September, pretty much all of October. It's almost a 2-month time that he's been out. And now he is available. We'll see if he plays a factor at all in the World Series. By the way, Bo Bichette has been a Blue Jay for a handful of years now, will be a free agent, though, this winter. And they are admitting already he may be limited to just DH duties in the World Series. Now, that's an interesting one because if he can only DH, do you put Springer back in the outfield? Because I know George Springer hasn't played in the outfield in quite some time either. So a bit of juggling there, but you know what? It's options. It's somebody off the bench. It's certainly somebody that you want to have around there. How and when will Bo Bichette be used in the World Series? Okay, these are 2 comeback teams. They have comeback ability. The Blue Jays, and as you saw in the series, being down 2-0, and as you saw in Game 7, I think when Cal Raleigh hit that homer, was it 3-1 Mariners in the 4th or 5th or something like that? And obviously the Blue Jays put together a late push and a comeback to win. The Blue Jays and Dodgers have both come back 52 times this season. That's the most in the majors. They're tied for the most in the majors, including the playoffs. So the 2 teams that are going to meet in the World Series, they have one thing in common. 52 comeback wins since the start of this current regular season and now postseason combined. The Blue Jays picked up their 16th comeback win when trailing entering the 7th inning. That was in Game 7 on Monday, the most in the majors. So they have that ability to never be counted out in a game. And I feel like it's that confidence, it's that resilience, it's just that swag. It's that feeling of, okay, we might be down and it might be late, but we're going to get one more chance to do it, and we've done it before. You got to admire that side about the Dodgers, too. I mean, I'm spelling this out in favor of the Blue Jays. They've done it a lot. They've done it a lot late, but the Dodgers also have that ability, too. So crazy to think what type of series this might be, and don't ever turn the game off in the 7th inning when one team has a 2-run lead. It may not go down as easily and as comfortable as you might think. The Blue Jays in Game 7, now they hit the baseball, right? They get hits, but they also put the ball in play. They don't strike out a lot. The Blue Jays in Game 7 were 10 for 31. That's a .323 team average in Game 7, striking out only 6 times. Now, I know saying only 6 times, 20 years ago, you'd say 6 is still a lot. Well, in this current day and age, double digits is kind of the norm for a lot of teams in a single game of strikeouts. In 7 games of the ALCS during that series against Seattle, Toronto struck out 40 times. That's not a lot through 7 games. They're the regular season's #1 contact team. Essentially, they don't strike out a lot. Even when they make outs, they put the ball in play. The regular season's #1 contact team has gotten even harder to strike out as the postseason has rolled on. And let me just say, what a factor this is. Even when they're making an out, they're making a productive out, a fly out, the ability to move a runner over, a ground out to the right side of the infield gets a runner from second to third. You know all the types of productive outs. When you strike out, I mean, literally there's only one thing worse, hitting into a double play, because that's 2 outs. But a strikeout is the second worst thing you can do at the plate in baseball. And a lot of teams are doing it at a very high rate and clip. And the Blue Jays are not only getting hits and putting the ball in play and almost a 300 team average, but they don't strike out a lot. Now, the opposite side of that is that the Dodgers and their pitching staff, holy smokes, they're deep. They're very much a swing and miss staff. They tally a lot of strikeouts. Ohtani had 10 strikeouts, right, in that NLCS clinching game, the starter alone through 6 innings. So they're a strikeout team. The Blue Jays are not. Something has to give here. I love this little piece of information here. Darren Daulton was the catcher the last time a World Series pitch was thrown in Toronto back in 1993, but Darren Daulton was catcher for the Phillies. 30 years after Gary Varsho became friends with Darren Daulton on the 95 Phillies, his son Dalton Varsho, named for the Phillies catcher, will appear for the Jays in the 2025 Fall Classic. Did you get all that? And how cool is that? Darren Daulton, part of the Phillies, and same thing with Gary Varsho, became friends during their 95 season, and now Dalton Varsho, named after Darren Daulton, is the Blue Jays catcher, and he's in the World Series. The next time the Jays have been in the World Series since 1993. Crazy how the world can come full circle like that. Okay, Blake Snell, as I'm recording this, is expected to be the Dodgers starter of Game 1 of this series. Blake Snell defeated the Blue Jays back on August 9th in Los Angeles for whatever this means on the Blue Jays side of things. 5 scoreless innings. Snell enters Friday, potentially being the starter, having thrown 13 straight scoreless innings against the Jays dating back to July of 23. I do want to say, those are regular season games. It's a different Jays team. I mean, literally going back 2 seasons ago, but I think it points out how hot Blake Snell has been. And if you watch my Dodgers preview, I've got some insane stats on how good he's been in just his last 6 starts, even going back to the end of the regular season. It's crazy. For a Northern Californian like myself and somebody who watched Blake Snell really struggle in the first half of last season with the Giants and then turn it on in the second half, he was like 2 different Blake Snells, and really from San Francisco to Los Angeles, 2 totally different Blake Snells, and especially in the postseason. The Dodgers took 2 of 3 versus the Jays back in August at Chavez Ravine. Okay, but that's back in August. I don't have much stock to put in that. Took 2 out of 3. I don't really know all the dynamics. Like, sometimes we reach back in history to try and figure out who's got the advantage here or what does it mean in the present. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know that it's very applicable to whatever happens starting on Friday night in Game 1. And I'll close things out with one of the other favorite stories of mine. I mean, the Varsho thing is very cool, but how about this? Donnie Baseball. Don Mattingly has been in Major League Baseball since 1982. 14 seasons as a player, 12 as a manager, and 17, like he currently is, as a coach. He's the bench coach of the Blue Jays. After 43 seasons in Major League Baseball, Don Mattingly right now is headed to the World Series for the first time. Number one, hard to believe of all the teams that he's been a part of in all the different capacities, player, manager, coach, and just being around it, that one of those teams didn't strike gold. It takes more than Don Mattingly to go to the World Series. Like, you need a team and a cast of characters. All of those teams never got there, but this Blue Jays team is going to be the first to take Don Mattingly to a World Series. So there you have it. That is my Blue Jays preview for the 2025 World Series. I'm probably going to do a couple updates as the series goes on. We'll see how long it goes. If I'm being honest, as just a fan of sports in general, but specifically a watcher of baseball, I kind of want this thing to just be interesting. I don't want it to be one-sided either way. I know Blue Jays fans want it one way, Dodger fans want it the other way, but a little bit of both. And let's make this interesting. Let's make it really good for baseball. Those are some unstoppable bats. How will they do against those Dodgers arms? Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I would love to see you back here next time.